Manchester United are on the brink of sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But who should be the next manager in at Old Trafford? A lot of United fans are frustrated at the idea of it being Antonio Conte, who is currently the leading favourite to become the next Manchester United manager. Zinedine Zidane, Luis Enrique, Brendan Rodgers are also other managers that are being tipped to take over the job. We're going to debate live on the air now who should be taking over, what direction are Manchester United going next, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks as though he's coming to the end of his reign at Old Trafford after almost 3 years at the helm. Make sure you stick with the Football Terrace. Click on the link to join us now. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe to the Football Terrace. This is the Bet Victor Top 6 show. Let's do it. Evening, everybody. How you all doing? We all good? Good. Okay, look at that. It's a weird somber mood to start with. It's always somber when we start. Everyone's like, good. Why is no one like, yeah, happy? Come on, what's wrong with you?
I'm over
Nobody
there.
acts like
Fantastic.
Come on. It's honestly,
they're
you
all
talk to me.
upset. They're all upset that their main card for banter is about to leave their hands, fam. That's what it is. That's why they're sitting there all mellow and calm.
I've got 5 cards still to banter.
Oh, listen.
I'm
You
finished.
do your 5 cards, fam. Those 5 cards have enabled us to get what we want. So thank you for using those 5 cards. Thank you.
Absolutely. And there's a lot to go through today. We're going to delve into it later on in the stream. We are going to be talking about Ole, who's on his way out of the club, according to multiple sources, who the next Man United manager is going to be. We will touch, of course, on yesterday's game where Liverpool absolutely smashed Manchester United 5-0. Massive, predicted by myself, by Cal here as well, and many others. It was a dot on the cards to happen. We're also going to look at the top 4 race because that seems to have heated up massively. We know that Chelsea, City, and Liverpool are a shoo-in, but there is one place open. Who is going to get it? Could Tottenham, could Leicester, could West Ham, Arsenal pit Manchester United to that? Or is the pending replacement of Ole going to put Man United firmly back in the driving seat? We're going to go through all those discussions and debates, show you some of the odds with our partners tonight, Bet Victor, as well. Remember, you can sign up to your free account right about now. The link is inside the description below for all the different markets that we're going to be talking about tonight. But on yesterday, I think we have to start on yesterday as it stands right now. I want to go to Cal first as a Liverpool fan. Give me your take on beating Man United 5-0 at Old Trafford.
Terry. Oh, big screen as well, yeah. All right. First and foremost, good evening, everyone. What a feeling. This has been coming. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. If you start with Ronaldo against Liverpool, you guys are going to get a hiding. Not because you're a rubbish team. If you play against Liverpool, if you play against Chelsea, if you play against Man City, you cannot have any passengers. Everyone's got to be pressing in unison. Everyone's got to be defending in unison. And it was just a sight to behold yesterday. I think we took our foot off the gas after the 5th goal went in and Pogba decided that he was going to try and break Naby Keita's leg. I think the referee did you guys a favour yesterday in terms of not sending off more players with some of the tackles we saw. Look, we did what we had to do. We went to Old Trafford. Salah broke more records. He's the best player in the world right now. I'm not going to get ahead of myself and say Liverpool are winning the title or we're guaranteed this or that, but we're doing a lot better than a lot of people gave us credit for at the beginning of the season, considering we didn't sign many players. So I'm very happy with how things are playing out so far and still undefeated in the league.
Yeah, I understand that, mate. And you were scintillating yesterday. There is no doubt about it. You're in fantastic form. And Mo Salah's just doing things which, we'll say nobody expected. Like, he scored 10 games on the bounce. He's broke the club record twice, two times in the space of a week. You know, he's proven himself to be the best player in the world right now. He's proven himself to be the best player that Liverpool have ever had in the Premier League era. And it's true, you know, scoring goals is the hardest thing to do in the game. And he's doing things with goal scoring that no one at Liverpool Football Club has ever done, let alone anyone in the Premier League era. So absolutely trounced Man United yesterday. But I suppose the big question is, and I'd love to get KJ's take on this. Do you actually feel like maybe now it might backfire a little bit on rivals because the beating has happened and it appears the board and Man United are now going to take action, sack Ole and potentially replace him with a top-class manager? Is that beating almost a bit of a silver lining for Manchester United?
Potentially, yeah. That that performance was a disgrace from the players all the way up to the coaching staff, all the way up to Ollie, all the way up to the owners of the football club. It was just that should never have happened. It literally thinking about it now just gets me riled up. But if I think about it, I did say I dare Liverpool to score 5 against us to see what would happen in terms of Ollie's position. What looks like is happening now is like what many people predicted, and it was more of a hope than I knew would happen. Where Ollie looks like he's about to lose his job, and that is something I mentioned early on in the season, early on in the show actually, that if Man United for whatever reason sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and get a new world class manager in, we could potentially go on to win the league. It's been 9 games, and it's still salvageable. Like from this point, it's still salvageable. If we bring in Conte, we'll discuss him later, or Zidane or whoever, Man United can still go on and do something this season, whether it be win a Champions League or a Premier League. Is it possible with this squad with a better manager? Yes. So Liverpool fans, rival fans, was absolutely enjoying the 5-0. But if Man United get this next manager appointment right, they'll be wishing Liverpool only won 2-1, only won 1-0, because then that means that we will be coming back with a vengeance.
Delusional, man. Let me come in. Let me tell you why.
Tell him, Daniel.
Let me tell you why it's delusional. Because the only reason why people can say this now about the salvageable thing is because they think that there's a blueprint there for everyone to go and follow. What Chelsea did is not repeatable. Let me tell you that. You might think you have the squad for it, but in my opinion, I don't necessarily think you've got all the pieces ready to go on and push for a title. You're not winning no title. Let's get that out of the pit. Like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool are by far better clubs than you. And for us 3 clubs to go on terrible runs, that's what it will take, by the way. It will take 3 of the best clubs in the world, not just in the Premier League, to go on terrible runs for Man United to then come in. Bro, for me, I think it's a bit disingenuous to believe that because we've seen it happen before, it can also happen to us because we have great players in our team. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the case, and I think it's something that obviously I said KJ we will chat. There's this stigma that everything is down to Ollie. When are we gonna have the Paul Pogba discussion? I mean, we talk about Eden Hazard all the time, where we talk about him not reaching his potential and knowing what he needed to do in the side. Paul Pogba, production, performances, he doesn't have enough of those for you. So don't sit here and tell me that a world-class manager can come into this team and then suddenly sort out everything and all the problems that happen in your team. Bro, what people forget about when Conte initially came to Chelsea is we literally won the league 2 seasons ago with Mourinho. So we had winning DNA. The team currently, yes, fair enough, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Varane, but they don't have winning DNA. Varane doesn't have winning DNA in England, and Ronaldo's not. Bro, we saw it yesterday. I literally said it on the preview as well. Like, how right could I be? I said, Ronaldo is only inevitable if you give him the opportunity to be inevitable. He was inevitable when he got his goal, and he ended up being offside as well, which was funny. But, like, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Man United have some world-class players, and I put that in quotation marks because it's very, very questionable, who are not performing. And that's like in spite of deficiency. How many great players have we seen perform despite the fact that they didn't have the coaching or they didn't have the team around them? I keep hammering home the fact that Eden Hazard played in a Champions League semi-final with 9 defenders around him, and Azpilicueta was starting on the opposite flank as a winger. So let's stop this babying that it's all Ollie's fault.
So what is to blame then? Because I can see the frustration. Let me ask. I'm asking you a question. Let me ask a question. It's fine that you have that opinion, but you were one of the people on here at the beginning of the season that said, with your squad and your manager, you guys should be thinking about winning the league. Now that our average, but now that we're going to be getting a world-class manager in, and people think we're going to improve, you're telling us we're delusional. That makes no sense.
No,
hang on. No, wait. So if our world-class players, if our world-class players are not good enough, they're not world-class, then why did you sit here and say we should be challenging for titles? Why didn't you say at the beginning of the season, Man United have no chance irrespective of Ollie because their squad ain't good enough? Why are you changing your stance now?
Hopefully I don't forget everything that you said. Let's clarify a couple of the points that you mentioned. I said that you have a good enough squad. based off of, obviously, yes, your manager might have been incompetent and he's shown that he's not able to win. However, you have a good enough squad to compete and challenge for titles. What I've said is I've not absolved Ole from all the blame. I've said that he's not the sole reason to blame for everything. I said you've had good enough players to win the league title or to win trophies. However, they too haven't performed to the level where they should be wanting to win titles. They haven't performed to that level. So my point is, the guys like Pogba, the guys who need to raise their standard in spite of what is happening on the pitch, they haven't done that. And they haven't done that for years. Let's not move as if Pogba has only not been good under Ole. Let's not move like that, because I would say Pogba's probably had his best season as a Man United player.
But you can the cases, but the thing is, Daniel, you're saying that this now, yeah, but when we mentioned it at the start of the season, you wasn't having it. And now that these workout cases may be underperforming, I'm saying that, no, with a new manager, with a new environment, with new tactics, they could end up getting to the level where you said they should be
talking about this season. So, you said this season.
You were telling me our players, you were telling me this season, 9 games in, our players are going to stay like this for the rest of the season.
No one said that.
If you want to ignore what I said, let me re-clarify. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking, because I've said. Let me finish, bruv.
All right, go on.
I've just said, with the new manager, with the new environment, we could go on and win the league.
You said we could.
Yeah. No, I said we could. I don't say we would. I said we could. You know what I'm saying? But apparently, that is too much. And apparently, my team and my players that you've all said at the start of the season, we should be challenging, we should be doing X, Y, and Z, are going to stay in this rut and not going to improve to a point where we can challenge. Is that what you're telling me?
Look,
can I re-clarify now?
Look what Salah's caused.
Can I re-clarify now? Bro, look, at the end of the day, look, there's no point in getting triggered. Understand what I'm trying to say to you. Stop making references to what I said at the beginning of the season, because what I said at the beginning of the season was factual. You have a good enough squad to win league titles and win whatever trophies you desire or you find yourself in. You've got a good enough squad for that.
So what I'm trying
to explain to you is that it's not all on Ole being this guy that's not been able to perform as a manager.
But Dan, I get that. And listen, I look beyond the manager and the players. Everybody knows who I'm focused on, and it's the way this football club has been run. But again, every time on this show and other shows I brought the Glazers up, I'm told, no, focus on the smaller problems. It feels like whatever Man United look to resolve, there's always something else that's the bigger problem. And yeah, Paul Pogba performances haven't been good enough, which is one of the reasons why a lot of Man United fans don't want him to stay, and they want the club to move on from him. At the same time, we look at your club as a great case in point. You have players like Rudiger that not many of you Chelsea fans cared about keeping. Now there's talk about him being one of the best centre-backs in the world, because the system that he's playing in and the way the manager has drilled him, it's got the very best out of him. And to suggest that a world-class manager, one thing we haven't had at Man United since Fergie left, and I do think this is true.
Van Gaal and Mourinho are world-class.
Hang on. Is a world-class manager at the peak of their powers? Because neither of those managers were considered. No, you do that with your head. But no one, when Jose took over, people were like, the problems at the back end of Real Madrid, he wasn't quite right at Chelsea. He was looked at as being past his best. Now suddenly we're rewriting it like he was peak Jose.
Louis van Gaal when he literally did the greatness with Holland. So you can't say he wasn't at the peak of his powers. So what we're saying here is that Jose and LVG were still at the peak of their powers when they came to Man United.
Give it to Brucey. Give it to Brucey.
I'm on that. Look, the odds are below us there in terms of. I mean, we're all convinced Ollie's gonna. I mean, there were some rivals this morning that were saying, Patrick, they were saying that Man United may stick with him. Can you see him lasting out the week? You're on mute, bro. Oh, I've just unmuted you. It's fine.
Okay. Listen. I hope for our sake that he lasts till next week, because we got you guys on Saturday, and I don't want a new manager bounce just before you play us lot. I need you lot in the mud for Saturday's game, man. And as it stands, if you bring in a world-class manager because I disagree with Daniel. I think that you guys have the squad and the players to challenge and win things, but it's the manager that is the issue right now. So I do think if you do bring in a world-class manager, you will see a rise in a lot of these players. So yeah, for our sake and for where we are right now, I need you lot to stick with Ole till next week or till, a couple of more weeks, see how things go, and then you replace him if you're going to replace him. Because a lot of Man United fans think that he'll see out the season. So
Yeah, it's I hear that. Jess, we spoke about this a week ago. There was the links to like the Contes and everybody else, and like it was sort of looked at as being a little bit sort of premature. Like, is your mind changed about that now? I mean, in terms of Ollie going, I mean, that looks almost a certainty.
Yeah, I think he will go. I'm just not sure if it'll be by the end of the week. That's my only thing is like, I think he's going to go, but I don't think Man United are the type of club that have a contingency plan for getting rid of managers quickly and replacing quickly as well. So I think there will be a little bit of a lag. Like he probably should have went this morning. And we're seeing that there's still a little bit of, well, depending on if you believe every single report, but there's a little bit of back and forth in terms of like what manager they want to go for and are they going to give him more games and all of this kind of stuff. So he will go. I think it's a little bit too early to do you guys were, excited that he was here. Now he's leaving. I think until you guys get the right manager, might need to like just wait for a second, because there are concerns around Conte, who I think is your only option right now. I think he would get you something. I don't know if he would leave your club in the right place. Terry, you've talked about that before. So there are some questions on whether like he would be the right manager. Is it worth ripping everything up for one trophy, and then leaving the club in ruins, that type of thing. So I would just wait on the gloating thing just for a second, but he will go. And then we'll see what manager you guys get. But I think Conte is your only option. That's really it.
Yeah, go on, Cal.
Yes. Just off the back of that, and again, I'm not even trying to be shady now. I've got all my shade off my chest over the last 24 hours. But what I will say, obviously, Conte is a world-class manager. I think that's undeniable. We've seen what he's done at Chelsea, Juventus, etc., Inter Milan as well. The only thing is, and I'm asking this genuinely now, do you think it's wise for them? For you guys to go straight for a Conte, or should you actually try and go for a short-term fix between now and the end of the season, solidify top four, make sure you're in the Champions League, and then hit it properly in the summer? Because as we see with Conte, he's got a very particular style of play. So even though you've got a very good squad, does the squad match the philosophy that Antonio Conte wants? And if that is the case, is it risky bringing him in now, knowing that it's going to take a little bit of time for adapting to his style of play, adapting some of the players who, like, for example, a Wan-Bissaka who's a very good right back, but is he going to be forced to play in a wing-back system where it might not suit him? So is it better to get an interim now, stem the flow, get Champions League football, which is the priority, and then in the summer, go and get Antonio Conte, give him a fresh summer, and then go and hit it from there and try and win the league?
Or see if you can get a more attacking manager. I mean, just in general,
why
you guys
not?
know you want to play attacking football. Man United is not really the type of team that's going to play that like Jose type ball, like 1-0. Like they're not going to do that. And Conte's kind of like that too. He does play attacking, but you know what I mean? That 3-4-3, I don't think that even suits the players that you have. You need to get as many attacking players out there as possible.
Precisely.
So I would say like not even wait to the summer to get Conte, wait to see if somebody else becomes available. Because right now, if you guys are forced into the corner with Conte, I do think you get the bounce that you guys want. I do think you'd get that, but is it sustainable? I'm not sure, and I think some of your players that you really want to see play, somebody like a Sancho may get left out in the cold in a Conte system, so you might just want to wait it out anyway. But then why not? I mean, don't you think, do you think Ollie can't get top four? You think it's that bad?
One, Ollie is not good enough to get top four right now. With the even with the squad that he's got, it's just showing that he's not going to do it, in my opinion. And two, I get the interim chat. If there was a manager good enough to be interim, who's willing to be interim and get us top four, even challenge for a title, for a cup, I would take that. But who is going to be interim? Who's available right now?
All right. So again, to answer that, KG. And again, I'm not even trying to be shady when I say this.
Yeah.
But I'm a novice YouTuber, and I could see from a mile away that this result against Liverpool was coming if Ronaldo started. It doesn't take a genius.
You're not a novice YouTuber. You're a brilliant YouTuber. Let me just throw that in there, Cal. Like I won't allow you to downplay yourself and be self-deprecating on the terrace, my friend.
Hey,
I appreciate
you're a Scouse bastard, but you're a good YouTuber. So, you know what I mean?
But even I could see starting Ronaldo was just going to be crazy for you guys to beat Liverpool. I've got no badges when it comes to UEFA, no nothing.
Yeah.
So if I could see that, another decent manager is going to be able to see that. So do you necessarily need a world-class manager between now and the end of the season to get top four? Because I don't think you do. No, I'm not saying you said. Sorry, I'm not saying you said that. I'm not saying, yeah.
Like, I'm not asking for world class, but I was about to say, Laurent Blanc, he's been out of the game for how long? Like, Ten Hag is not going to leave Ajax to be interim. Yeah. Like, look at all the managers who are seen as decent and above. They're all in jobs and not willing to be interim. They're saying, if you're going to get me, you make me your permanent manager. So, but that's the thing. And if we want an interim, you've got Big Sam, you got Steve Bruce, you got those level of managers, and then
please God,
you know what I'm saying? And you got what, Michael Carrick and Darren Fletcher.
Yes.
So even when you list up what is available as an interim manager,
so
it's not.
I think what's interesting about, again, I actually get the point around interim, but that means that everybody is trusting that the Glazers have a process. They don't. One of the reasons why I wanted to wait until now to sack Ole, this is purely a personal thing. I wanted to wait until the majority of people consider our squad, not just United fans, but rivals, good enough to win something, is because every other time we've had a problem with the manager, there's always been this, but if they back him, is the squad good enough? There's still and there's always question marks over particular players. Even your, like Chelsea and Liverpool squads here, there are question marks over some of the players in your squad still. But your managers have systems that elevate them, or they don't use certain players and they still win. I'm happy with the fact that we're at a point where there are no excuses other than Ole isn't good enough. But the squad, we should be able to put a manager in, whoever that manager may be, that can pick up from what Ole was trying to do and drive us forward. That means there's a specific type of manager who coaches a certain way, behaves in a certain way, and the style of play is an 80% match. So there isn't a huge level of adjustment for these players to go through. What I like about the Antonio Conte move is that it almost feels the complete and opposite to what we're doing, which for me proves there is no process at this club. If it works and I'm wrong, I'm happy as a Man United fan to be wrong that we don't need a real process. All you ever really needed was a proper manager at the football club. But I feel that if Antonio Conte comes in, even if there's short-term success, in 18 months' time, we're back here again having these types of shows, having these kind of conversations. My only prayer is that by then, Man United fans wake up and smell the coffee. That for all your Pogba problems, for all your Fellaini problems, for all your Tom Cleverley problems, for all your LVG, Moyes, Jose, Ole problems, there is one common denominator in all of this: the people that are running this football club. Barring, well, Jesse's owners aren't great. Patrick's owners aren't great. We've got two people in the bottom corners there, Cal and Daniel, whose clubs are run brilliantly. And lo and behold, they're far more successful than our other three clubs. The managerial appointments and who we buy are great. But the way Graham Potter has Brighton playing football is better than Man United, is better than Tottenham, is better than Arsenal. And they're doing it on in comparatively with a shoestring budget.
100.
Spending money doesn't guarantee success, but it's about having but if you go to Brighton, club philosophy, the managers they bring in. Like, we're all unhappy to see Houghton lose his job at Brighton, but they brought in somebody that just picked up from where he left off and took it to another level. That's what excellent clubs do. Every now and then you make a bad managerial appointment. Leicester did it with Claude Puel. But because you have a club system, you can sack one manager, install somebody else, and they just plug in and they go. It's a plug and play thing. And that's what Man United need to get to. So I'm intrigued by Antonio Conte more than I am anybody else, because I want to know what this club's at. I want to know what their thought process is, because as great a manager, as world-class a manager Conte is, I believe he could get a tune out of this. I believe he could come to Man United with this squad this season and win a trophy still. Champions League and FA Cup, I believe he can do that. I agree with Daniel, even though it got heated, that we're too far away from three better teams than us to win the league now, but we'll make top four with Antonio Conte. I don't know what we do 18 months, 2 years down the line. And that's my biggest concern, is 18 months, 2 years down the line, if we start overhauling this squad and we end up in a position where it's now 80% what Antonio Conte wants, he then leaves because he has a falling out with the Glazers. And then the next manager we go for is Julian Nagelsmann, who's completely different again. And it's another 2-year rebuilding squad process. I just want to know when Man United fans are going to wake up, if that happens, wake up and smell the coffee and realize there are bigger problems than players and managers at this football club.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly say, obviously, yeah, it did get heated, but, that's what happens when we talk.
It's all good.
Yeah, of course. Essentially what I was saying is, and I don't want this point to get lost, is Look at a guy like Antonio Conte, who doesn't have. You look at a guy like Antonio Conte, he doesn't have a great record in Europe. First of all, that's why he won't win the Champions League, in my opinion. And then you got the trophy thing. Fair enough, you could win an FA Cup or a League Cup. And I was strongly referencing the league. We could win the league thing because I think they're 3 better teams. You also look at the fact that Chelsea fans always say that, was that league title actually worth it? Because you look at what happened to our squad. Like, it was hard to really retrain and rebuild that squad. That's why when you look at the squad that Lampard finished 4th with, I mean, yes, we had great players, but there were a lot of academy players that needed to come in and plug that squad. I memean, there was a period where Antonio Conte, all in the sake of buying a target man, he was linked with Ashley Barnes, Peter Crouch. He just wanted he said 6'3" and above, and I want that guy. Do you know what I mean? So I just think that's why I made the tweet that if I was to be worried, it would be if you brought in someone like Luis Enrique, Zidane, Mancini, someone who I believe can take on what Ole has started and really take it to the next level with the players that you have. And I just don't think Antonio Conte is that guy.
I agree with you on the Antonio Conte thing, and I hope that I'm one of these people where if it happened and he came in, then I'd get behind him as a Man United fan. I'd be intrigued to see what he can do. But I would always have this this gut feeling that in 18 months, 2 years' time, would be back in this situation. With whether it's the team playing badly or him falling out with the owners, it concerns me massively, because I do think our squad's good enough and to compete. As I say, with the right manager, when you see the fact that teams with lesser midfielders and there are teams with worse midfielders than McFred and they play better football. So this whole will they be able to ball out like Xavi and Iniesta? Never. They could never do that. But could they perform better than they are right now? It's a dot on the cards to happen, because we see it every week in the Premier League.
That 18-month concern, though, is there for any manager personally with the ownership that we've got. Like, they have clearly been lying to us for the past how many years, let alone just this last 2 seasons. This whole thing about the structure being restructured, was it really restructured? Even coming out today, Woodward is resigning, not in December like we was told, but in April. You know what I mean? Like, all these things always coming out, always the story changing, always the thing have to come out and it's different to what we've been told. There is no trust to have there. So yes, Conte, and again, Conte's not even my first choice. It's not my first choice as manager. But even if it was the Mancini, the Enrique, the Zidane, as a Man United fan, in the back of my mind, there's always that worry of, is this structure even going to help them to achieve what they want to achieve? Because we've seen it time and time again, different kinds of managers. Now, you can't even just say it was the world-class managers or the Finnish managers that have come into our club and have failed. We've tried something different in Ole, an experiment, that's also failed. The guys running this football club have no flipping idea how to flipping win outside of Fergie. And that's what's going to kill us more than Ole being here, Conte being here, Pogba being here, Bruno, whoever it is. The fact that these guys are running this football club is going to kill us more than whatever manager or player comes through.
I want to ask Patrick a question here as a Tottenham fan. You guys are not happy with Nuno, and we'll get on to Spurs a little later when we do the top 4 debate. The fact that we might be appointing a new manager soon and maybe a top-class manager, is that, when you look at that as a Spurs fan, or just from an Arsenal point of view, is it a concern? Do you think that could trigger Man United to get back to a higher level, or are you a bit more like certain Man United fans that think we've failed now 4 manager appointments on the bounce? This one's likely to go wrong as well.
No, I think with the players that you got now, if you do appoint a top manager, then you are shoo-in for the top 4. I mean, I had you guys as a shoo-in for the top 4. I knew City, Chelsea, and Liverpool were the contenders, but I had you guys as a shoo-in for the top 4. As it stands right now, I'm not sure. And like you said, I think there's one space up for grabs. But if you do get a top manager in, then you're right back in the mix for that 4th spot. And like you said, winning a trophy. So I would be worried. I would, because a better manager gets a better tune out of this group of players that you have. You have world-class players in your squad. You have a good squad. You should be doing better than what you're doing. So yeah, I would be worried.
Yeah, I hear you on that. There's another report that's just come out here in the last little while. This is from Chris Wheeler, who has said that Man United are remaining silent over the future of Solskjaer. United sources who had previously offered us sort of words of backing surrounding Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been silent and are not taking calls. Monday has been deafening. Given repeated opportunities to offer him a vote of confidence, none of them have been forthcoming. I think anybody that's concerned that he's going to survive, I think it's gone. I think he legitimately is gone. There's another report here that says in the dressing room, the feeling is that Jurgen Klopp has highlighted Solskjaer's limitations. I can't imagine the players hadn't seen those limitations up until yesterday. Like, with all due respect, like, I think there's a bit of banter in there a little bit. Like, but this is the thing with the running of the club, though. There's all these reports today about players being unhappy with the training methods. The coaches are at loggerheads. So supposedly McKenna wants to play X and way, and Ollie wants to play in the Y way. And it's like, this is my biggest worry. With all this didn't start in the last 9 games. These concerns have clearly been there longer. Why are they not listening to what is going on in their own club, these owners and this board, and giving him a new 3-year deal? They put faith in Ollie to essentially say there's something we see in Ollie that maybe the public haven't seen yet, but they should know what's going on. Like, Fergie was always backed behind the scenes because they could see what was being grown and developed with the youth, with getting out the drinking culture and this improvement that was coming. They believed and they saw it and they were right. When you back a manager like Ollie, give him a new 4-year deal, which, by the way, is going to cost us another 15 to 20 million pound now in compensation. It's going to be another 10, 15 million pound to get a new manager in. It's like, and people say we spend money, but they hemorrhage money hand over fist. It's literally getting a new manager now is going to cost 30 odd million quid for Man United. It's just a disgrace. It's just a disgrace.
It's because they're reactive. Like, the whole thing was, as long as he stayed in top 4 and it wasn't under any sort of threat, he was fine. Like, he was fine. And going into this season, they thought, well, we've reacted. We've gotten the center back. We got Sancho and Cristiano Ronaldo, which was also reactive because they didn't want him to go to City. And they figured, cool, that equation is going to keep us in the top 4. But they're only reacting now because it's not going the way that they thought. Anybody that saw how you guys played against Villarreal in that Europa League final should have known that he should have gone after that. Probably even before that. There were signs way before that he wasn't going to be able to do it, but they're reactionary. They're only going to act when it seems like it's going wrong. And right now, I still even feel like it's more about the visual of what it looks like at the moment versus the actual results. Because if you really look at it, you guys are still right there, could be in 4th place. So it's just about the ownership and the executives not really being, they don't really care about winning. They care about what it looks like. And as long as you guys are in top 4, it's fine. But right now, it's not looking good. You can't get bashed by Liverpool 5-0. You can't barely beat Atalanta. You can't get smashed by Leicester 4-2. It just looks bad. But really, in the table, they're probably looking at it like, well, it's not that bad, but it looks bad on socials and it's hurting the brand. We talked about that. They're reactionary. They're not proactive. They don't have plans.
Yeah, and as everyone can see, they're the odds on the bottom of the screen currently with our partners today, Bet Victor. He's the odds-on favourite to be the next manager in the Premier League to lose his job at 7-2 on. So if you do at any point fancy having a responsible flutter on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to lose his job, I would say now is the time because those odds are likely to get even shorter. The link to do that is in the description below. You can sign up to your free Bet Victor account now. Remember, if you bet £5, you get a free £30 bet on top. Always gamble responsibly, as we say. Be over the age of 18 and read all of their terms and conditions. I want to get into next, before we do the top 4 race, I want to get into next a little bit more about who Man United should actually appoint as their next manager. I want to get your direct opinions on that. And of course, speak to the audience, see what they think and feel. As we can see here, the odds below, Conte is the favourite at the moment at 7-4 to get the job. Zidane second at 5-2. And Brendan Rodgers is still the 3rd favourite at 4-1 to take over at Manchester United. Cal, I know you have no love loss for Man United, but you mentioned earlier about waiting for the right manager. But if you were now in charge and you were going to appoint the right guy to take this squad as it is now and take it to the next level, who would be the individual you would employ?
Steve Bruce. Now, all jokes aside, I wouldn't go for Conte. I know everyone says Zidane, and I get why everyone says Zidane because of what he did at Real Madrid. I still think Zidane's a big risk, though. I wouldn't go for Rodgers. Zidane's probably the one who's the best one to go for you guys, but it's a big risk because we haven't seen what he's able to do outside of the Real Madrid team. And I don't want to take anything away from Zidane because he had world-class players, because, he had world-class players, but he still had to win things. But we don't know if he can turn it around in a league where there's not just Barcelona or Atletico Madrid to contend with. You've got Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, other teams you can take points off you at any given weekend. So he's probably the one you go for, but I don't know if it works. Generally don't.
How about yourself, Jess? You also mentioned waiting for the right person. Who is the right person for Man United, in your opinion?
I don't know. I really don't. This is the issue, is that I don't think there's the ideal person. I don't know if they exist. I feel like maybe the ideal person is already in a very, very good position and a good job. You know, Mancini seems like a good option, but what he's doing with Italy right now, I can't see him stepping away. Luis Enrique, he's also doing something really good with Spain. I don't know if I see him walking away and walking into this structure, because people are also going to look at what's going on above them. And some managers are just not going to want to risk, you know, what they're doing to go into something like this. Conte, I think he wins you guys things, but I also think you guys will be frustrated. Certain players won't get in the team. You might have some upheaval later on. So maybe he's not. I think he's the best option to get a quick fix, get you guys feeling good, like very quick, but you never really know what's going to happen after that. Zidane is probably the most attractive option based on the fact that he's available and he has the clout in Europe and in the league and La Liga to make it seem like, you know, maybe he's a good fit. But you guys know I've always been very firm and very honest that I just don't see him leaving his vacation right now to take this on, especially because I just think he's waiting on the France job. And if I was him, that's what I'd do as well. Like, you know, so I don't know who the best option is. Probably Zidane, but I think you'd have to offer him so much to come and risk maybe not getting the France job, because I think that'll be available sooner rather than later. So I'm not sure, you know, it's not Rodgers either though. Let's be real.
I'm surprised no one's talking about Ten Hag. I think he's a brilliant fit for you guys right now. And, you know, with Ajax, he kind of just signed an extension. I think you guys could go in and get him. He plays a brilliant brand of football. He's also a good coach. You've seen what he's done with players and how he's brought them through. I think he'd be a really good fit. And it would be a really exciting proposition for him to come to Man United as it stands and push his brand as well.
You would probably want to bring Van der Sar in.
The only reason I didn't mention him because I know he likes the Barcelona idea, doesn't he? I know they're in the money, but he does like the Barcelona idea.
No, go on, Dan. Go on, mate.
No. Just quickly saying, I think it alludes back to what I was saying before. I think the perfect manager does exist. I do agree with the idea that the Mancinis and the Enriques are doing something great with their international managers. But one thing people are forgetting is this is still Man United. And as much as, they're not in the place that they should be, it's still a very attractive job for a lot of managers, for a lot of top managers as well. Yes, you might say the structure's there, but let me not lie to you. I don't know how many managers really are overly worried about structure. Like, obviously, fam, of course, Man United don't have the best structure in place. But, bro, it's not 10-year-olds running the club. Like you will take the job if you want, like if you apply and all of that kind of stuff. But Zidane for me is the perfect option. And you say he's not, but I think he is. I mean, he's won 3 Champions League. I think he's underrated. I'm sorry, because Pep Guardiola before he came to England also only had world-class players too. So for me personally, I think he just gets a bit like they sit on him a bit. Like even taking that Real Madrid team that Chelsea beat in the Champions League to the semi-finals was like we sat down, like obviously when we were talking about what side of the draw we'd rather be on. The reason why we said Real Madrid is because we could see that they weren't the same team and they were rebuilding and whatnot. And with a lot of guys that weren't informed, the fact that he took the team to the semis, I still think was a good achievement enough. But yeah, man. So I think Zidane with the Pogbas in that team, the Bruno Fernandeses,
Jess has got to go.
See you later on. See you later on, Jay.
With the Varane and all the rest of
the... do you know, you said something interesting though, Dan? Like I focus a lot on the club structure because I think it's a really, really big problem. But what that also leads to me thinking is, like you've said, who actually is the right manager? No one. Do you know why no one knows? Because when you, man, at Chelsea were linked with Tuchel, a lot of people said, not the right guy, bottle job. Can he really hack it in the Premier? What I like to do as a football fan is say this: I'm a football fan. I don't have coaching badges. I'm not a football person in terms. I couldn't run a football club. None of us could do that. Even the best YouTuber in the world with his football opinions couldn't last. He'd struggle to organise the stewards on match day, like legit. When it comes to actually working at a football club, do you get what?
That's
and I know
true,
that
it's
because
true, yeah.
we do it. We do it about all industries. That we all sit there and cuss off other industries. Oh, I'd do it like this. I'd run it like that. And then you try doing it, and it's like, oh my god, it's actually really hard. Do you know what I mean? I think being a dinner lady is a really hard job. I couldn't do it because I'd kick a kid. But the point is, like legitimately, I look at it and think to myself, no one really knows. I look at Conte and think he could be a problem. He could fight with the owners. Conte could, he doesn't fit what we're trying to build under Ole. But maybe he comes in and it just clicks and it works. Maybe the way he talks to the Glazers, they really like and it doesn't fall out. Maybe we all say Ten Hag's the best option because of the style of football that he has, but he flops in the Prem like Frank de Boer did. Like, do you get there's almost this element for me where it's like, I am fussed about who we bring in, but my preference isn't my concern. My concern is the people picking the manager at Man United.
Terry, who is your preference anyway? Just
my preference is Zidane, and I think about him. I like the way he plays football. I like what he does. I really like Ten Hag. Again, I like the style of football. The way they play football is how I would like to see Man United play. I think it would get the best out of people like Bruno, Pogba, Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho. I think it would get the very best out of those individuals, and I want to see that. I don't necessarily think Conte would. But if we were winning under Conte, I also don't. Winning comes before looking good for me every single day of the week. Yeah. But at the same time, I sort of sit here and I hear all these different arguments as to why this guy's good and why this guy's bad. This guy's going to be toxic. This guy's going to be amazing. But no one really knows. And what's the most important thing for us to do now is two things. One, get Ole out of the door, because you can clearly tell by the noise that's coming out, the players have lost faith in this guy. They need to move him on because, and at the very least, I know everyone's scoffing at the idea of Darren Fletcher taking over in the short term. I don't really mind who takes over in the short term. That just might be for a couple of games until Conte's appointed. That makes sense. But anything's better than Ole being there right now, because I think there's almost this element of people not listening to him. You can often get that bounce without it being the new manager. You can often get that sort of response that you want because everybody just knows something good's coming. You might not, and you might lose still, but we're losing with Ole. We might lose with Fletcher. I don't really mind, but at least you remove one not toxic element, but someone that makes the fans angry and stuff like that. I just look at it this way. For me, the guy that comes in needs to be of world-class level. Whatever way he plays, he needs to be somebody that we look at and go, he's a world-class proven manager. Zidane and Conte are the only two that spring to mind. I think there's still a lot of question marks over Ten Hag because he hasn't managed in one of the top 4 leagues as of yet. Luis Enrique is great. He is not leaving Spain before the World Cup. It's not happening at all. And then I start going down the list, and we are going to put a little bet on him with Bet Victor. Pochettino isn't leaving. Brendan Rodgers is a no-go for me because he's a Scouser. Nagelsmann, that's true. I don't care how good he is. He managed Liverpool. I don't want him managing Man United. You've got Nagelsmann isn't leaving. Laurent Blanc, maybe. You've got like the Ralph Rangnick's an option in there. And I look at it and I'm like, Newcastle are about to appoint him. Like, again, someone like him till the end of the season could be amazing because he might maybe be able to help build some stuff and be consultative around the running of the club. But I just get a feeling, I really do get a feeling deep down inside, it's going to be Antonio Conte. The noise today about Conte is so big. And it's so big, it just feels like it's going to be him right now. Although a lot of it's coming from Antonio's side. A lot of it's coming out of Antonio's camp. Like, it's almost, please pick me, I want a job, if that makes sense. It's almost this element of... And you know what I said about the club structure as well? The one thing I think about managers is they've got an arrogance about them in the sense of, like some... You ever dated a girl that's like, a few things about you I don't like, but I think I can change you? You know, you know what I mean? You can sometimes get that in a relationship. If I can change these 2 things about you, we can be together. I sometimes feel managers are like that. Okay, I know there's some problems with the Glazers. I think everyone that's gone to Chelsea has thought, Roman won't do that to me. I'll be cool with Roman. And then Roman yields the axe anyway. But I don't know for me. I think we're going to pick Conte. My preference would be Ten Hag or Zidane, but I think it will be Antonio Conte that comes into the club. How about yourself that's sitting there like looking stressed out, KJ? What would you say, bro?
I'm just fuming because I remember who flipping was our club. These pricks, bro. I'm sick. When I say
I'm loving this, loving this.
You man know what I believe in, yeah. But when I say they are the first people I want to run upon with a baseball bat and just not even hit them, just look like I'm about to hit
KJ,
them.
don't incriminate yourself. Don't catch a case on there, man. Chill.
Bro, I don't. Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say is, if you see me in America, I'm on holiday, innit? Like I'm on holiday. I'm having a good time. But yeah, Zidane is the one that you look at the manager, you look at the profile, you look at, like, he's got stature as an ex-player, he's got stature as a manager. He can come in, demand respect from all of those players. I've said it before. Ronaldo will respect him. Varane, Pogba, Bruno, like all these guys will respect this guy. It'll be him, but he don't want to come out of his holiday, and I don't blame him, fam. He's bold for a reason. So yeah, let him recoup. let him recoup, bro, and maybe grow his hair back. But now, like, right now, it's legit. For me, it's like anyone would do, but no one would do. It's like, even if we do bring Conte, do I believe that these pagans are going to help us win the league? No. It's just literally just Brian. Like, Daniel, I will admit one thing to you. It is blind hope and faith that I believe in this new manager bounce thing. That there's no football acumen. There's no, oh yeah, if he tweaks this with that player and that player. It's just blind bloody hope. So that's all I've got. Because that's where Man United are right now. We are a shambles of a football club. And until these owners are gone, we will be screwed and forever misled.
We have some breaking news, people. Some breaking news. Fabrizio Romano has tweeted and stated that Man United, their first step is to still make the final decision on Ole's future by the board. Internal talks are still ongoing over how to handle the crisis. He then goes on to say Antonio Conte would be prepared to talk with Man United about the project as revealed today, but there is still no official contact yet. Remember, there will be no official contact until the manager is sacked. United will not do that. And they'll always say it's not official, but there are definitely talks via intermediaries. And that's why I've said before, you can take it to the bank that Antonio Conte is the lead man as of right now. Still no decision over to whether to sack Ole or not. And my personal belief is that's because they're looking at this situation from the point of view of if Antonio Conte says no and our other options are not available, we might have to keep Ole for a week or that's what it feels like to me. Do you get where I'm coming? It's almost like we might keep him for another week or two. I actually think there's a possibility he may end up staying until the international break. That's just typical Man United. That's what has just been said there from Fabrizio.
So he's still in, basically.
He's still in now. No decision has been made. No decision made.
If he don't go now,
come on, Daniel, let's celebrate, baby. Ole's at the
If he don't go now, we are not
listen, no decisions before Saturday, please. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to White Hart Lane. I don't want to see a new manager there.
Yeah, Patrick, if we don't get rid of him in the next couple of days, yeah, I'm telling you now, we're never getting rid of this guy, bro.
Damasio has just tweeted, though. Damasio, who has been bang on in the summer, Damasio has just tweeted, I'm translating this, but it says Man United assess the exemption of Ole, so I mean the sacking of Ole, and are ready to get serious for Antonio Conte.
Oh, wow.
Antonio Conte is, I'm telling you, he's going to be the next Man United manager. It's heating up. They're waiting.
Terry, do you think it will happen before Saturday?
So let me tell you something. I got told this by Christophe Terreur that knows Conte well. Conte's got this thing he does when he negotiates. He'll negotiate with Man United and the news will come through that it's close to an agreement. And then he throws a curveball in at the last minute to get even more. Oh. So if he does that, that's typical of him. If he does that, like he told Spurs he would join. And then like it was all the Spurs journalists said he's joined and then he threw his curveball in and it all fell apart, right? If Man United can get the deal done, he won't be the manager by Saturday, in my opinion. It's actually not enough time to get that deal done. But I think that'll be announced. You'll probably see Darren Fletcher or somebody manage the game on Saturday, but with Antonio Conte maybe standing in the stands. But Damasio very rarely puts out these messages. I think what's happening now, my personal opinion, based on reading these things, is they're waiting to get a deal done with Conte. Then they sack Ole. And then Man United go on and win the league this season. That's what they're basically looking to do. So, hey. But do you know what I will say is this? All things being equal, putting structure, I am scared about the sustainability. I am scared about the long-term approach with whatever manager comes in. But legitimately, with Conte, with Zidane, with Enrique, with Ten Hag, I do believe we play, I don't know if better football with Conte is the right word, but we win more games. our
Yeah.
win percentage is going to increase by 10,
100%.
15%.
100%.
And for me, that's still going to take away a little bit of the pain. Like for me, it's not quite solving the problem, but it's a good remedy. It's a good painkiller. So either way, it's better than Ollie. It's better than Ollie staying, in my opinion. Do me a favor, everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Let's get the stream past 1,500 likes, over 3,100 people watching, which is amazing. Of course, sign up to your
Big up,
BetVictor
everyone.
accounts as well now. The links to sign up to BetVictor is in the bottom. I'm going to put a little bet on, though. I am going to put a little bet on. Then we're going to have a bit of a top four debate as well. I'm going to put this, where am I got to share my screen? Where's my buttons gone for sharing the screen? There it is here. Right. So, who should I put my money on, though, boys? Who do you reckon is going to be the next manager? Should I go with Conte? That's the bookies.
Everything you're saying, Conte has to be.
Oh, no. On a serious,
No.
Is Steve Bruce on that list? Is Steve Bruce on that list, and how much is his odds?
KJ, why do you say weird things like that?
Oh, no, let me just see.
Please let me, Bruce.
Hey, Neil Warnock is on the list. That's jokes.
Yeah, I can't. Steven Gerrard at under. Imagine Steven Gerrard take over.
Hey,
That'd be
watch it on,
amazing.
Never
watch it on.
happened.
They got Stephen Moyes there. Sean
Moisey
Dyche.
to come
Yeah,
back.
Steve Bruce is there. Go down, Terry. You just missed him. Steve Bruce is there. Go down.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Theory 100 to 1.
There you
Steve
go.
Bruce.
100.
Steve
Hey,
Bruce.
£1,
Steve Brucey.
£1.
A pound on Stevie Bruce. Now, on a real level, I've got to go with Antonio Conte. With
Yeah,
what the market's saying right now, I'm going to go with Antonio Conte. I'm going to go and stick a little £10 on that. I'm going to stick a little £10 on Antonio Conte being the next manager. You can go and do the same thing. The link for this page is in the live chat and in the description below. Go across now. Have a bit of a responsible flutter. That's who I'm going to go with as well. Who would be a good outside shot, though, boys? Who do you reckon would be a good outside?
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney.
Oh, that's it. Wayne Rooney's interim. That's a good shout, you know.
Wait. Shout. If you want an interim, guarantee
Wayne
he's
Rooney.
the man who'll get.
Yeah.
Guarantee you they'll get.
That's a good shout. Wayne Rooney's interim. I like that.
Wayne
He's
Rooney.
struggling right now, though.
Exactly, bro. That's why they would do it, man. Because I'm telling you, these men are idiots.
Wayne Rooney's a club legend.
66 to 1.
Yeah.
That's worth a quid, you know. That's worth a
It
pound.
is.
Wait,
I'd
worth a pound.
put £5 on that personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It's
I'm gonna.
£5.
That is chicken and chips, isn't it, bruv? That's Sam.
Yeah.
That's free piece. That's a free piece. That's a free piece and chips and a drink from Sam's, bro.
There
Big
you
up
go.
Sam's.
0.1 litre of petrol, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
0.1. Listen, I'm gonna put a pound on it though, because it's. Do you know why I've got to now? Because you put it in my head, right? If I don't put it on, there it is. That's on. Wayne Rooney. It's 66 to 1. It's confirmed, Terry, that Steven Gerrard is going to be the next Man United manager. Listen, if Steven Gerrard takes over as the Man United manager, I will do a stream naked. I will do a stream.
We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to see that.
Listen, butt naked. I'll do it. No modesty glove.
Allow
Like
it.
literally butt naked. Butt naked if that happens.
On a real, it's either Conte or it's literally no one. Like, it's either Conte or Solskjaer.
That's what it's looking like at the moment.
There's no interim.
Yeah, it's going to be an intriguing one. But top four race though is on, boys. We're going to talk about the top four race next. Viewers, keep smashing that like and share button. Let's do this. So with Man United's pending doom surrounding everything right now, who's making up the fourth? Who's getting the fourth top four space? I want to go to Daniel first on this. Who do you see making it? West Ham look great. Spurs and Arsenal were inconsistent. Man United are dropping like flies. Leicester look like they're on the resurgent. Who's going to make the Champions League place this year, in your opinion?
United will still make it, so it'll be the top three clubs. I already predicted at the beginning of the season Chelsea will win the league. I think I said Man City, then Liverpool, and then United. I think United will still make it. Obviously, I know West Ham are doing well. Leicester kind of flipped a switch a bit. I don't really believe in Tottenham. No disrespect to my bro. Arsenal, yeah, they're not really going. Arsenal, I think their ceiling is probably getting back into the Europa League. But yeah, I think United will still be fine. You won't lose every. I mean, you're not facing Liverpool every week, innit? So you'll be fine.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Cal, I get if Man United do appoint another manager, most people. But if Ollie stays, could you see Man United falling away from the top four?
It can happen. I just don't think it will. Not because Ollie's brilliant, but because the teams below United are very inconsistent. And I think that's the issue that we've seen. It's like Liverpool last season. We had no right to get in the top four last season, but the teams above us were not consistent enough and we snuck in the back door. I think the same will happen with United. I think if you keep Ole, you'll scrape it. If you get rid of Ole and get someone in better, I think you'll get it comfortably. But again, from the beginning of the season, I said they'll finish 4th. I still think City will win the league. I think Liverpool come 2nd. I think Chelsea come 3rd. But I don't see anyone breaking that top 4 right now.
But you think we'll come 3rd?
Yeah.
Why do you think it will come? I'm just intrigued, isn't it?
I just literally think you're a quality team. I just think Liverpool and Man City are slightly better than you and will edge it out.
Okay, interesting.
I still make Chelsea favourites personally.
We're better than you. Just putting that out there. We're better than you, bro.
You can say that, but there's no proof in it yet.
Well, there is. They're top of the league.
How many games in?
9.
Well, yeah, but 9. I'm just saying.
This is funny. This is funny.
It's a quarter. Like honestly, do you know what I would say about Liverpool? Liverpool were brilliant yesterday, but Man United still created 3 or 4 chances where they could have scored.
No one's speaking about that. Cavani missed the open goal.
Cavani missed the sitter. He missed the sitter.
All right, but let's not act like we haven't seen Chelsea win games and they haven't conceded.
No.
Robertson made a great block.
No. I know. No, we know that, but I'm just saying that on the balance of things, like what you need to remember is this was Liverpool's first good performance in a big game. Like obviously the Man City game was there, but I think Man City edged that game, in my opinion. I think Man City should have won. I think if we didn't get a red card and Anthony Taylor wasn't on his Anthony Taylor stuff, we win that game too. You will disagree. I know you will, but
I'm not saying I disagree, but again, I think that's a bit of hearsay, she say, because you got that red card because Reece stopped a goal from going in. So I could argue and say if you kept 11 man on, you wouldn't go ultra defensive and you would have actually come out at us, which would have played into our hands. And we could have more goals.
You saw how the game was going when you had 11 men, so you can't make that.
But again, to use your example, when we were losing that game, we still had 2 chances where we were 1-on-1 with your goalkeeper and we fluffed them. So,
to be fair, yeah, we could go back and forth all day, but I just think we've got the best defense.
I don't think you're a rubbish team. I just think Liverpool and City are the 2 best.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
I
hear you. Someone here says, Terry, do you want more salt with that? I'm not being salty about Liverpool. I'm simply, again, it's you can't ever like. I know Liverpool fans are concerned about the level of chances that they've been letting up. I watch Liverpool podcasts, I watch Liverpool shows, and it does get brought up. So that's all I'm saying right now. If Liverpool sort out defensively where they look impenetrable, then my decision changes because the best teams with the best defenses tend to win the league titles. The year that Liverpool ran away with the league, you couldn't score goals against them. The years where City have won the league, you can't score goals against them. The great defenses win those titles for me. So that's the only reason. That's my only rationale for it. And I think it's a sound one.
And just 2 things. There were, and it's insignificant to obviously a lot of casuals, but obviously I focus on these things a lot. There were instances where Rashford exposed Trent's defensive weaknesses again. And Ronaldo, that shimmy was so slow. Conte was like on his back foot. Like I was thinking, yo, bro, like what's going on?
Don't diss Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo. That shimmy was decent.
I'm not dissing Ronaldo, but that was like one of the slowest shimmies ever.
Let me ask you a question.
You're killing me.
Serious question. Everyone talks about Chelsea's defense being impenetrable, right? How many man of the match performances has Mendy put in this season so far?
Ooh.
Just the one? Are you sure?
Ooh.
Brentford, Liverpool. Are you sure it's not more than that? Villa, he had to be bloody good against Villa as well. I've counted 3 already. So again, I'm not trying to say Chelsea aren't great, but everyone talks about Chelsea like you can't get at their defense. We've seen teams get at your defense. But Mendy's just been fantastic so far this season. So have you had a fantastic defense or have you had a great goalkeeper? Because when David De Gea was making all these saves, everyone was cussing Man United's defense. But now Mendy's making all these. Hold on, wait, let me land. Everyone's cussing Man United's defense and praising De Gea. But now everyone's praising Chelsea's defense. But Mendy's just what? Is he just there for furniture? Because without Mendy, you're conceding a lot more goals than you have. And again, I'm not even trying to throw salt at Chelsea. I'm just saying, let's look at the overall picture and let's assess it properly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, without Alisson, what happened? No, without Alisson, what happens to you guys? Because I can still point to the fact that we've still.
I'm not sitting here saying that we've got an impenetrable defense, though. I'm not
Yeah,
saying.
Well, I didn't say ours is
Do
impenetrable.
you know what I love about this
I
conversation?
said
Do you know what I love about this
it's bad.
conversation? We're debating who's getting in the top 4. It's
I
great.
know
It's-
it's
I
mad.
love,
I
I
ain't
love
even
it. I
said
love
nothing.
it.
I'm a Spurs fan. I'm trying
in
to. I'm
fairness,
itching to say something.
no, I was gonna say, I want to ask you this. Like, listen, it's a great conversation. We'll definitely get onto it maybe later on in the week on Thursday's show. In terms of making top 4, though, Pat, like, I mean, Man United are getting bantered left, right, and centre, but the consensus is they'll still make top 4 as an example. Do you see it being that simple, or can you see someone else jumping in?
I do. I hate to say it, but I agree with Dan. I agree with Cal. Man United are getting in the top 4. The teams below, the Tottenhams, the Arsenals, the Leicesters, Villa, if you want to throw Brighton in the mix because they're there right now, West Ham, they're just not good enough. The West Ham Tottenham game yesterday was a crap game. Like, as a Spurs fan, I watched it. It was a game of poor quality. West Ham obviously nicked it in the end, but I didn't see anything in that game for me to see that Tottenham or West Ham will get in there. Brighton are doing well, but are they going to sustain it? Probably not. Arsenal are just still Arsenal. That's no shade to them, but they're still not good enough. Leicester are topsy-turvy. They've looked okay in the last couple of games, but again, there's a lot of inconsistencies there. So I don't really see any of the teams below you guys challenging. So I still think Man United, with that team and the caliber of players you have, you will get there. For me, at the beginning of the season, I said Chelsea were the favourites. I still stand by that. Then I think City, Liverpool, United. And then after that, I'm not sure what the rest will be. I think Spurs finish 5th to 8th. We'll see where the chips land, but I just don't think the teams below are good enough, really.
Do you know what's interesting about that? That's what worries me as a Man United fan, that we could still, not that we can make it, because I want to be in the top 4, because, you know, you hope, but that could keep on, like, legitimately, if we decide not to sack Ole because we can't get Conte, and he beats Spurs, nicks a draw against City, and then just kind of coughs and splatters his way over the line, will keep him. And that just bothers me so much, like the lack of ambition at the club. And I sort of feel like it's more I think Jess pulled on it earlier, more the PR noise that's kind of keeping him in his position. But in fairness, I can see a Leicester or a West Ham doing something. I feel like if we appoint a new manager, legitimately, if we appoint a new manager, I think it's over. I think they'll make it top 4. The squad's too good. But if we don't, and if we do decide to stick with which seems improbable right now, if we stick with Solskjaer, West Ham or Leicester for me will pit Man United to that position. They'll
I
pit
can't
Man
see
United
it. Not with both teams being in Europe. Not with both teams being in Europe.
I bless up everyone. Smash the like button, people.
See you later, Cal.
Take it easy, people. Yeah.
See you later.
See you later, Cal. Everyone's sleeping on Arsenal, bro. Like,
no,
stop it, man. Stop it.
What? Look, we banter them all the time, but look what they're building. They're building this really solid defense.
You're bantering now. I know you're not being serious.
But Aubameyang scoring goals. You got Smith Rowe finding form. Saka is great. You know what I mean? Like, you got all these players. They're really building something. I feel like the Arsenal fans were onto something. And I think we were just all being too salty to realize that. Now that I've taken the salt glasses off, them man are a real shoo-in.
Stop it. Stop it.
Hedges been learning from Terry too much, man. I see it. You've been learning from it.
They're actually better than we like to say they are. They give them credit for it.
Are you suggesting for a second, Daniel son, that I'm a bit of a controller on occasions? I sometimes can. That's true. I'm going to share the link now if anybody wants to call in, have a little conversation with us for the last little part of today's show. I am going to put, though, another little flutter on, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is again. I need to just get these odds up again in front of me. Where are they? For the top 4 race. The top 4 race odds are all in the description below, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to go and have a little look at that with our partner today, Bet Victor, go and check it out. I'm really liking the odds, though, on Leicester. 8-1. 8-1 Leicester are to make the top 4. And I feel like we're going to see the likes of Samari and Daka really kick on now and give them a great opportunity. I'm going to put only a small one. I'm going to remove that Wayne Rooney odds. I'll already put that on. I'm going to put a little small one here, a little small stake. Just £2.50 I'm going to put on there. I just put 25 in. I didn't mean to put 25 in. That's £2.50 on Leicester to make the top 4. I think it's a really good little, at this point, a nice little shout at 8-1. I think in a couple of games' time, they're going to shrink massively with Man United, lose a few more, and they win. So I think it's a great time to do it. That's done. That is locked in for that top 4 race. Give us your thoughts and feelings, people, on that. Make sure you've smashed that like and share button as well. We're going to go to some calls in a few moments' time as well. There was a super chat from Artful Dodger I didn't read earlier. He says, United fans and players, should be grateful for Klopp for showing mercy. Just wait until you lot play City. Those lads keep scoring until the final whistle. That is true.
We haven't seen that this year, though. Saying that, I haven't seen City in the scintillating form this season. So I'm not sure about that one.
No, I disagree. Let me tell you something about City and Pep Guardiola. They don't need to beat you 5-0. They demoralize you. They sap the energy out of you. Like it's like what I compare it to is this, yeah. And obviously it's gonna sound mad, but I think it's the best comparison. I don't know if you ever got shouted at by your mum. Because it happens all the time. You become numb to it. So Liverpool's beating is like, yeah, cool, it happens. But when you get shouted at by your dad, who doesn't shout at you, and he just suddenly switches on you, it's like, yo, you become scared. You're like, what have I unleashed here? Like, that's Man City. Because, look, we've only lost one game this season, and we only lost 1-0 to Man City. But when I tell you, that was one of the worst games to watch, or hardest games to watch.
Yeah.
Fan. It was just demoralizing. They take all the energy away. They made us look like little kids. And fair enough, Tuchel played into Pep's hands with the formation he played, but still, like, Man City's beatings are different, man. They just taste different. It's annoying.
No, mate, I hear you completely. We're going to go to some calls now, though, to let the viewers have their say. Tell us what they're thinking and feeling. First up, Curran is going to be on the line with us now, an Arsenal fan, here to have his say. Let's do this. Wrong. I literally clicked all the wrong buttons, but Curran's here now. How you doing, mate?
Right,
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Colin, what's good?
I don't appreciate your tone. Yeah, I don't appreciate this mocking. I don't appreciate this tone, fam. I don't know where you're, bro.
I'm backing you,
bro.
Here,
You're gonna go get Bruce. Okay, calm down. It's calm out here. Let's not act like we're.
This is what I don't understand about
like,
Arsenal fans.
what are we doing? Like, why? Like, if you, bro, now come on. You got. I've been saying this to you.
Building, fam. You guys are building. So you're telling me that you're building. That you got all
I'm telling you we're building. We are building.
And you're telling me you're going to get in top 4.
I do think we're going to get top 4.
I believe you.
What's with this tone, though? Just explain the tone.
Wait, KJ,
what's with the tone?
KJ,
I'm agreeing with you. Accept it.
We can't skirt that. Why do you think you're going to get top 4?
Look, I'm telling you right now. Look, I said that before the beginning of the season. I think, look, we have a good set of players that we're actually starting to build right now. If you look at the teams around us, the quality, as other people have said, the quality around that top 4 is not there at the minute in time.
Do you think it's there with Arsenal, though? Be honest. Do you think that you guys have that quality?
I think we can. Well, I think we're around there. I think we're around there. Do you not? Do we really think that we're not around there right now?
Do you know what I would say, Curran? I think is this. And I want to call out a lot of people that say they predicted what's happened to Man United this season. Nobody thought after 4 games, 9 games, we'd have lost 4 of them and looked this badly. Not a single person said, even the biggest OLE outers didn't expect after the 3 players we signed to be as bad as we have been. And the irony in it is, everybody's been focusing for 2 years on attacking style of plays, how we attack, how we move the balls, etc. In fact, it's our defensive shape that's letting us down, not the way we attack. But the point is, the reason I'm calling everybody's bluff is nobody was talking about that. So this is kind of been a bit of a shot from the blue that people didn't see in terms of how we're losing games. My point, though, is because it's been so bad beyond what anybody predicted, we are going to get a new manager. We are going to get a new manager. Therefore, Arsenal are not making the top 4 because we will. So I get your point. If Man United were half as bad as this, but still winning more games, we might have kept OLE and maybe you could have crept in. But as being as bad as we are, actually is a hindrance to teams like Arsenal because we're not keeping OLE with the way we're playing.
All right. Well, my thing is as I was saying to you before, Terry, the first time we actually met, is the fact with the problem with United is more to do with the balance of your squad right now. You're looking at having midfielders that aren't being able to progress the ball from one end of the play to the other. You have issues with vacating the midfield zone. You have players dropping back into a back 5 and pushing up into a front 5. You don't have that midfield depth at this moment in time. And until you address that, I do think you're.
So, Curran, do you think that's the players, or do you not think a world-class manager like a Conte or a Zidane or an Enrique would fix that?
It can help that. They can help that. But the fact of the matter is it's not even about the fact that the quality of the players. It's the fact that the profiles that you have in the squad right now are just not, they don't mesh together. Why do you have Sancho, Rashford, Pogba, all these left wingers, but only Greenwood on the right wing? Why do you have McTominay and Fred as your two main midfielders?
But it's you're doing a managerial thing here, because Man United fans asked the same question. Everybody said, why do Man City need Grealish when they've got Bernardo Silva and KDB and everybody else, but they're still playing well? They've not got the wrong profile. It's about the manager. We all agree that McFred shouldn't be starting a lot of these games. In fact, the Man United players have come out today very publicly through the media and said, we don't know why we're picking them two for all of these games themselves. So I hear your point, but for me, you throw a world-class manager looking after this Man United squad, they are more than capable of comfortably qualifying for the top four. And the things you're talking about, you're right. We have those problems, but that's because of how Ole trains them and drills them and sets them up to play. I don't think that's because our players wander around like headless chickens going, we don't know what to do, even when we've got instructions. I think a world-class manager fixes that, bro.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to tell you is, what I'm trying to get across is that you have severe deficiencies in this squad. It's not about it's not like the players you have are crap. I'm not saying that. It's not like that they're rubbish players or they're not good players. You have world class talent. You have a great forward line, elite ball strikers all over the pitch. Pogba's on 7 assists, for God's sake. Like, you have great players all over the pitch. Okay. But the issue is that some of the profiles that you need are not in this squad right now.
Can you stop saying profiles and just say players, please? Like, I don't know where this is.
Okay, shall I explain what I mean profiles then?
I know what you mean by profiles. You mean skill sets that particular players have.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say football players. You ain't got the right football players.
Okay, fine. The football players.
We talk football, bro. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I know, but it's just.
But what I would say, Curran, what I want to hear from you, Curran, and I don't mind your opinion, but just say what you're trying to say with chest. What you're saying is we don't have a good enough squad to make top four, irrespective of the manager. That's what you're saying, but you're going a very long way around saying it. So just say, even with a world-class manager, because you don't have the right players in your squad, Arsenal are still going to finish in front of you. That's what you're saying, right? I'm
saying that the squad balance isn't there. I'm not saying it's not. No, there's a difference.
There's a difference. This is my frustration. You're predicting Arsenal top four, and you're saying because we don't have the profiles. Then say it in clear football terms. Arsenal will finish above Man United because we've got a better squad than you.
Fine. Arsenal will finish above Man United. Are you happy?
Because wait, Corin, tell them why, because they're laughing at Arsenal, and I'm here trying to defend them, and I need you to help me out. Yeah, tell them why, bro.
I'm not. My point is, and my point has always been that the clubs between 4th and about 9th are very, very tight. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. That even with United, because United aren't exactly the most. I'm gonna keep saying, because that's what I mean. That's my point. My point is that you have great forward line, a great back line, but there's no midfield depth. I'll say that till the cows come home.
And Curran, I don't. My frustration isn't your opinion. Let me just say to the viewers, I'm not frustrated about anybody's opinion. My frustration is that you are using non-football language to go and going around the houses to get to your point. Your point is, and I'm going to paraphrase it, Arsenal have a better and more balanced squad than Man United, and irrespective of the manager, we will finish above you in the league this season and come 4th. That's all you've got to say. That's literally what you've said. Am I taking words out? Am I putting words in?
No, it's not. It's kind of, because you have better individual quality than us.
But that isn't what I said. I said a better. But a better. Again, you've got more balance. That means you've got a better squad still, mate. Like, just
that's true. No, I'll say. I get that. That I can agree to. Yeah, I think we have a more balanced squad in terms of looking throughout the pitch. Yes, I do agree with that. But I will say, I've got to say this again, because people are going to say, "Oh, you're crazy. They have Ronaldo. They have Sancho. They have this. They have that. You have great players. There's a difference between a balance and great individuals. And you have great individuals. You have great individual players."
But you're finishing above us because your squad's better.
Yes.
Cool. And mate, listen, my frustration is literally it was like 10 minutes to get to that like confusion, because when you start
because it's a clarification thing. Yeah.
When you sit there and say we have the profiles to do this, a lot of people will go, "What's he talking about profiles for?" Like, that's just not football language. Like, legit. Okay. Like, I'm just saying, like, one of them ones. Curran, great call though, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your say. Someone says Terry is setting an agenda by bringing this guy. I ain't setting nothing. He come on and said it.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
came on myself.
Why do I get blamed for other people's opinions? Like I put words in their mouth. You lot are mad.
See, another fan upset that Arsenal are better than they actually people like to say they are. And they
Thank you, Curran, for coming on, mate. Appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you. I would say this, but when you call into the terrace, if you're going to say something, just come on and say it. Like, I don't care. It's just say it. Right, next on the show, Rax here. Rax, the Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, mate?
I want to talk about profiles tell. Look, it's something we touched on yesterday about this whole John Murta, Darren Fletcher thing. Because I was just reading the MEN because I wanted to get to the bottom of this and what these guys are supposed to be doing. And it says here that John Murta has been promoted to the role of football director, with Darren Fletcher being made technical director. The football director will have overall leadership and responsibility of operations and strategy across all football functions, and Murta will work closely with Solskjaer and the rest of the football staff. So if Murta is not appointing Conte, then there's definitely something wrong, because that is just not. He should be, according to at least what the MEN are saying, he should be if he's responsible for strategy and all the kind of across all the football functions. That should be his role, right? Like, it shouldn't be Ed Woodward appointing Conte or Joel Glazer or whoever's supposed to be doing it.
And do you see why I call them liars and pagans, bruv? Because clearly that's not what's going on. So you can't trust a word that comes out of this club's mouth. You can't. You flipping can't. And there's the proof.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Fabrizio has just tweeted again about Antonio Conte. He says, to be clear about Conte, he's never been a fan of joining clubs during the season, as it's not in his style. The only club right now that could change his mind is Man United. The fact that they're going to make him change his behavior to join us just says that he's coming there. We missed a super chat earlier as well. This was from Joshua that says, Arsenal are not making no damn top four. You Muppets can't even be a decent team in the top half. You talk about our problems. Arteta, you're funny, bro. Is what Joshua's got to say there. Listen, Pav, thanks for not Pav, Rack, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate.
No problem,
Thank you. Thank you. Next up, Pav is here. What are you saying, Pav?
I hope everyone's good, man. I thought Ollie would have been sacked already by now. Considering that he hasn't, I just feel like everyone at that club are a bunch of cowards. I don't care if he's a legend of the club. The results haven't come our way. Our owners are out there in Abu Dhabi trying to buy a cricket club in India. A little bit of advice for them: you ain't getting no money out of Indians, bro. Half of them man are poor. From someone who goes there multiple times a year. Sorry, man, I have to say it. I've got so many houses and farms out there, bro. I know what it is like out there. No one's got pee out there, so I don't know what they're gonna try and do out there. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with these owners, bro. Like, we need a new manager, and you're out there trying to set up a new franchise and whatnot. But
for the audience, Pav, what's your ethnicity?
I'm Indian, bro.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. We just clarify that. We had to clarify that for the cancel culture. They're swarming, bro. They watch everyone's streams. They're ready to go, and they're like, "Oh, where's Pav from?" You should have wound them up and said that you're a white gammon from East London. That would have been a laugh, bro. That would have been funny.
Bro.
I kind of hear you. I want him gone now. I feel like they're sorting out Conte first, which I kind of get to a degree, but they're going to sack him. There's too much noise now not to. Honestly, it'd be the most shocked I've ever been if they didn't get rid of him. I really would. Pav, thanks for calling in, mate, and having your say. Really appreciate it, bro.
Cheers, bro.
No worries. Language of the Slaves here says, second last season with a lot of clean sheets. Upgrade the squad. R7 and Bruno clashing. Ollie has lost the changing room. Too many chefs spoilt the broth. I think there's an element of that. I also feel I've been trying to look at the games. We're on average at the moment doing about 5 to 6 more positional attacks per game. I was looking at Y-Scout earlier. I think we're trying to attack more because of who we bought. And it's exposed Ollie's lack of ability to set up a defensive shape. It's in the transition where we die. Like, when we're sitting back and we're compact, we're not too bad. We're bad at defending set pieces. When we lose the ball in transition, we ain't got any idea at all. Next on the show, Raphael is coming on to have his say. What are you saying, Raphael? You're on mute, by the way, Raf.
Yes, right.
There we go. What are you saying, Raf?
Yeah, I want to talk about profiles.
Don't leave Curran alone. Leave him alone. But yeah, I hear you. What do you want to say, bro?
I mean, these Arsenal fans, they're deluded. I mean, there's no way. I said it last time. there's no way Arsenal will finish above Man United. There's no way.
There is a way, and it's called the process.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Saka is better than Mbappe. Yeah. I want to talk about Zidane. Obviously, being a Real Madrid fan, from what a lot of people have been saying, it looks like he's settled on the France job. But I mean, on the other hand, you talked about Ten Hag, and you mentioned his style would fit United. I mean, what's the United style? I mean, I've never seen United.
Yeah.
Playing
Look, I think, Man United try to play attacking football under Ole. We know that because we get caught in the transition and countered on so easily. You can't be countered on if it's sitting back in a low block. Like that's, again, when people talk about how we actually play, those things stand out to me. I'm really at a loss for who and what we should go for next, mainly because I don't believe there's a structure at the club. And the more that comes out in the next few days about things, the more I think we're going to think and feel that, my friend. But do you think Antonio Conte would be a success? Because he seems to be the favorite right now.
I don't know. To me, it looks like you're going backwards to someone like Mourinho, rather.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a bit confused because Conte sounds like Mourinho and Ten Hag sounds like Van Gaal. Because remember, to be honest, a lot of United fans were complaining about Van Gaal's style.
Yeah.
And Ten Hag's style is very similar to Van Gaal's. I mean, they come from the same school.
I hear you on that, mate. I do. Rafa, top call, mate. Thanks for coming on and having your...
By the way,
yeah.
Saka's better than Mbappe. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Yeah. Come on, bro. Speak to you soon. Top man.
Better than Haaland. Yeah.
Top man. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, Rafa. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much indeed. Listen, everyone that's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Thank you to our sponsors today, BetVictor, for help powering this show. Make sure you go sign up to your free accounts now. All the links are in descriptions below. Unless there's breaking news tonight, I'm back tomorrow morning. The League Gunner show the straight facts is tomorrow afternoon as well. That should be explosive. League Cup games to cover as well. Before you leave, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you have the bell notification button turned on as well. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all